Hey guys, welcome back to Hayden Newberry Fishing. I'm Hayden Newberry. I'm a travel nurse. I travel around the country and stay in RV parks, fish a bunch of bass lakes everywhere that I want to fish. And right now I'm actually in South Carolina, but I wanted to make a video today about my electronic setup. I've used it for the last at least couple years. I know the setup that I have now in like Toyota Series, Bass Opens, everything. And most setups like this that guys are running are going to cost you an astronomical amount of money, because I feel like mine is very much like on the budget side of what you can spend on setups like this. But you don't have to. There's a lot of little shortcuts you can do to save some money around the edges and everything when it comes to this stuff. But I'm just going to run it through with you guys and show you what pretty much the way I set it up and the reason that I set it up that way, and pretty much something that if you wanted to do something like this, you can kind of duplicate and know that you'll at least get some good results out of it. So pretty much what I have at the dash, which the reason that I run it like this is because I feel like I've got kind of the best side imaging I can get for the money here, along with a mapping unit that I can run beside it. So pretty much so that you can run have a big screen to split maybe side imaging and down imaging on, and then you don't necessarily need a huge screen for your mapping. And the unit that I use for my mapping has actually been more reliable than a lot of the newer units. So I actually run an old Humminbird 899 CI HD for my mapping beside a 12-inch Humminbird Helix 12 Mega Imaging. So the reason that I run that old 899 is because it actually came with my boat. That unit is really old. When I bought my boat used back when I was I think 21, that unit was actually on it, and a lot of the times when the mapping will actually go out of my newer Humminbird units, that one doesn't glitch or anything going around some of the lakes. I remember one time I was running across Ouachita, and I was running two units because the service is terrible out there, and my newer unit kept going out, and that one never glitched out going across it. And so I ended up relying on my older unit instead of my newer one to map across it. Anyway, the reason I run the Mega Imaging is because they actually have Humminbird probably has some of the better side imaging when it comes to units for seeing fish from what I've seen. And definitely not the clearest though. There's other companies that have clearer, but like I said, it's a budget setup, and Humminbird, I can see structure with it. I don't necessarily need to see every limb on the brush pile. I just need to see that there's a brush pile there, and it shows that really well, and I can see fish pretty well on it too. Other than that, it's a Humminbird unit. It's kind of glitchy. You aren't going to get your smoothness and everything like you get out of Garmin units and Lowrance units and stuff, but again, it's a lot cheaper. So how I run these is, if you have you got to run a networking cable from these units, and then I've got a box in here. It's like I think they're about $150 to $200, and then you got to buy the cables. So I wire all this myself, and it's really not that complicated if you read the little diagrams and stuff, but a lot of it you've got to make sure you buy the specific adapter for the Ethernet cables to run them all between. But I don't know how dirty it is in here because I went fishing the other day and just threw all my stuff in, but right down there is a Ethernet box with the cables ran to it from my Humminbird units. And then also this is where my Garmin LiveScope box is. So that's what's at the front. When it comes to LiveScope, I was not going to buy the Humminbird version because I know that the year I was buying it, actually I ended up buying it before Humminbird even came out with theirs, but I wasn't going to, because anytime, technology is the same with anything. The newest version is always going to be the glitchiest, and the person that has had one out for the longest for trials out in the public are always going to be the most reliable units. So Garmin had theirs the longest, so I went with Garmin, and I don't regret that at all because theirs is way better from what I've seen than the one that Humminbird came out with. So this is the most expensive unit on my entire boat. It's a 12-inch Garmin. I think it's an XSV, I believe, or XSV, 12-inch live scope is all it does. I just have it hooked up to my live scope box back there, and then the unit that I run in front of that is just a Helix 10-inch. And actually the only reason I'm running such a big mapping unit up here, which that's literally all I use it for, I run live scope and I run mapping on the front. You don't really need much else to fish really effectively offshore. But the only reason I'm running such a big unit up here is because originally, before Mega Imaging came out, I had two 10-inch helixes. I had a 10-inch helix at the front for running my down imaging and stuff on the front, and then a 10-inch helix for side imaging back there. Well, when Mega Imaging came out, I went ahead and bought that, and then I moved one of my units up here. So really, you could go a lot cheaper and get another $8.99 or something and put it up here. So $8.99 you can get now used for like probably $150 for because you don't need a transducer. You literally just need the head unit. You could probably buy one used that the transducers went out or something on for, I mean, literally maybe a couple $100 or less, and or go even smaller than that. But that's the ones that I know that you can link to the other units still, and it worked really well. And then and then you got the Helix units. But to run all this stuff, something I really wanted to throw into this video, if anybody tries to do this, is that something I ran into is that Garmin up there pulls like a lot of power. So I had to add a battery. And also, if you're wiring your own stuff, adding a battery isn't a bad idea to clean up some of the wiring, and having a designated battery will make your imaging on your units clear. And I knew that the one that mattered the most on my boat was my side imaging and my live scope. So I went in and swapped both of those onto their own battery, so that I can run it for a 13-hour practice day or something and not have to worry about it. So my one lithium battery is right here in my side box. So I actually have 5 batteries. I feel like it's funny to refer to this as like as a budget electronic setup, but that's just what it is. This is pretty much the same type of setup that you're going to see on a lot of boats, but it's just it's a lot cheaper version of it. It would probably only cost you a mere I think the live scope is, if you buy it on sale like I did, and it's probably still going to cost you close to $3,000. And then the Mega Live unit, it's probably another $2,000. If you buy it new, you can probably get a used one now for a lot cheaper than that. So that's $5,000. And then the 2 mapping units, which you can cheap out on those, you can. And along with the wiring, I'm going to say the wiring's probably going to cost you another at least $200 to $300 for the wiring. So yeah, you're going to spend easily right around $6,000 for a budget, a really budget mapping setup, but you'll get the best stuff, or probably the best that you're going to get for that price. But anyway, that's what I got on my boat. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helped somebody. Oh, I didn't add in the battery, so adding in the battery, you're looking more at like $7,000. Yeah, sorry to break somebody's heart. See you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.